welcome back. I'm Gabe Hollenby, and I'm joined on stage now by Jared still, and we've got Will Batter with us. Will is a senior technical account manager at AWS, and he's here today to talk with us about Amazon SageMaker. Will, I understand you have a demo prepared, so maybe we should just jump right into the demo, and then we'll follow up with some questions.
Awesome.
Check this out, you guys.
All right, so simply the demo is building an API that uses deep learning in order to recognize different flower categories within 102 different classes. So I'm using Amazon SageMaker to train and build my model, and then I'm deploying my model on API Gateway and Lambda functions, just to have a complete end-to-end serverless solution.
Nice. I've taken photos of flowers before, and I sometimes don't know what I'm taking pictures of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you can build a mobile app around the API, and you can have a take a picture with your mobile phone.
Awesome.
And make predictions about the flower name. So,
yeah, show us how this works.
Yeah, so here I'm just importing libraries. I'm using MXNet framework, which is...
Just backing up a little bit, doesn't look like a typical IDE that we develop in. Is there something different that we do for machine learning applications?
Yep, so this is called Jupyter Notebooks. Jupyter Notebooks is the industry standard for data scientists to train and build their machine learning code.
Okay.
And you can actually, if you navigate to the Amazon SageMaker console, you have the ability to spin up your own notebook. That doesn't have to be a GPU instance because we train outside of that notebook, but it can be any other instance like T2 Medium, for example.
So we develop in the notebook.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm writing my code inside the notebook. I'm putting it in different cells so I can run and troubleshoot my code properly. And then that code cell here, importing libraries, and then I'm downloading dataset down here, and then this is what actually SageMaker, or the beauty of SageMaker, is coming from. So here I'm creating an object called MXNet Estimator, and that estimator is simply containing my training logic or my code, including the hyperparameters, which are the parameters that I use for training. And then it's just, as you see here, it's just one simple command or one simple API that constructs your object. And then here I'm calling a fit, which is starting the training. And you're going to start seeing that the training is started trying to predict the accuracy of the images that I fit into. And then when you go down, you can see that the accuracy is increasing, and then it can tell you what are the billable seconds as well, like how much the training can cost you. In this case here, it's like 10 minutes, almost 11 minutes. And then one command to deploy the model. So I already have a model deployed. I can try it out.
And when you say deploy a model, at the end of this, what we get is what? Some API accessible over the web where we can feed it data?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it returns an API link that you can just send a request with a payload of the image.
Got it.
And it's going to return the predictions, accuracy, and the predicted image.
Okay. And so you're going to go ahead and...
I'm going to try to make a prediction.
Cool.
So I have another notebook that does the prediction for me. That first cell is just having the labels of the different images. And the second one is you just need to put the file here of the image. So I'm going to try to search the internet for a certain flower. What about English marigold? Sounds good?
Marigold flower, yes, sure.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
I'm going to pick that one here. Copy image address. And then I'm going to insert it here. Run this piece of code. And then make predictions.
Okay.
You can see here that the predictions came back with a 99% sure that this is an English marigold.
Cool. Awesome.
Awesome.
That's really
That's
good.
my demo.
So one of the things is you talked about a little bit earlier when you were going through the notebook was that data set. The biggest challenge for getting accurate machine learning models is ensuring that you've got the volume of data to be able to train models appropriately. And So how do you go about collecting some of these data sets? What did you specifically use for this demo?
Yeah,
So
did you go ahead and take all these photos yourself to train it?
No, I didn't do that. Luckily, I found one of the public data set from Oxford University that you can just download and use out of the box. It contains around 6,500 images for different flowers, and around like 100, 200 images for each of the categories of the 102 different categories.
Got it.
So that's what I used. I cleaned it, I pre-processed it, I put it in a certain format that SageMaker can accept, and then I trained
the model
it
from that.
Exactly.
Well, you have a very popular presentation already. We've got two questions for you.
Both from the same user, but I'll start with the first. Sorry, the user is I think it's Simulios.
Simulios.
So why use Python during within these notebooks as opposed to instead of using Julia?
Right, I've heard of Julia as another popular data science language, right?
Oh, awesome. Okay. My knowledge is in Python. I know a lot of Python codes. I'm very comfortable using Python, and that's why I use it.
Okay.
Python already has a lot of very, very rich data science kind of libraries, like NumPy and other libraries. So I feel very comfortable using it.
And I know that SageMaker comes with these Jupyter notebooks out of the box to make it really easy to get started with, and that's all with Python.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay. So, and also the follow-up question is, what other languages can be used with SageMaker?
At the moment, you can develop in Python.
Yep.
We're planning to support some other languages in the future, but at the moment, you can develop in Python.
So at the moment, it's just really limited to have that simple, that easier functionality through Jupyter Notebooks at this stage. But
you can develop in Spark as well using SageMaker. So Python and Spark at the moment.
Okay. And that also raises an interesting point because. Yeah, in excess of 90% of the features that Amazon Web Services provides to their products really comes as a direct result of end customer feedback.
That's right.
So working backwards
from the customer is one of our core tenets. And if you do have a requirement for additional language support,
let us know.
This is where, let us know. Reach out to your account teams.
Maybe your technical account manager.
Your technical account manager. Or likewise, if there's additional support or additional features that you, as the audience would like to have, simply send an email to aws-twitch@amazon.com and we can log that as a feature request, feed that information to our service teams and get them working on it.
Cool. So
awesome.
Thanks for that demo. That was really neat. But a question is, I don't have a lot of machine learning experience. Do I need to be an AI and machine learning expert to use something like SageMaker?
Absolutely not. So SageMaker comes in with a whole bunch of built-in algorithms that is high performance kind of algorithms. We tuned it for you. You can use it out of the box, and all you need to do is just feed it your data, clean up your data, and feed it your data, and then we're gonna do the work for you. And SageMaker is gonna do all the underlying work for you. Okay. You can also bring on your own container. So if you want to customize certain algorithm, or if you want to build your own container, you can bring it on to Amazon SageMaker. Or you can bring on your model if you already have a model ready.
Nice. Another thing that I picked up earlier, what you were saying with regards to hyperparameter optimization, or HPO.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit more about how hyperparameter optimization, that is a tongue twister, how does that work, and how does SageMaker make that easier for end users? I'll also get you to...
Absolutely. So it's actually one of the latest in, I would say, cutting edge kind of technology that is being used at the moment in order to tune hyperparameters. So machine learning can be sometimes a hard process, time consuming, because you need to find the right combination of hyperparameters that your algorithm can use in order to make the highest accuracy, right? So hyperparameter optimization, or HPO, is just kind of like a machine learning on top of machine learning. It tries to automatically tune your hyperparameters in order to come up with the optimum kind of hyperparameter that your model can use to produce the highest accuracy.
Ooh, I
So
like the idea of machine learning teaching machine learning. This is
Exactly,
Inception
yeah.
style. But what you're ultimately saying is, let's say I've got an engine and I'm a mechanic and I'm tuning it. I don't need the mechanic there tuning that engine anymore. The engine's tuning itself and continually optimizing and looking at itself, and then also iterating over and ensuring that those fine parameters within the engine are actually optimized for best performance.
Absolutely. Hyperparameter optimization currently on preview. So if you would like to use it, or anyone would like to use it, feel free to register in the preview. We're going to give you access to play with it and try it out.
We got another question. This one is from Andreas. What about, I don't know if I can read the writing from our moderator here. Let me see if I can see it on the stream here. What about, is it like PHO? What about PHP? That's a P there on the end. Can we use PHP for SageMaker and machine learning?
Not at the moment.
Not today.
Yeah, not today. But yeah, like what Jared said, if you have a valid use case of using PHP, feel free to reach out to the account team, and they're going to help you adding a feature request, and it might come soon.
Or likewise, email AWS-Twitch@amazon.com.
Cool.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Galileo, these are question balls, not Pokeballs, but I like your reference. We tried painting them earlier, but the paint's worn off. Let me toss this one back to the moderators.
So you also talked about how easy it is to deploy the machine learning models once you've actually gone through the process of writing out your Jupyter notebook and actually going through that training process. What do you mean by easy deployment? You showed in the code in that notebook, you essentially had a couple of lines of code. Is it that simple?
It is absolutely that simple. It's a few or one-click kind of deployment that you can do from the GUI, or if you want to write it, and if you're an API kind of guy, or you want to write it down, it's just one line. You just need to specify the number of instances, instance type, and the endpoint name. And we're going to do all the work on the background on your behalf. We're going to deploy multiple EC2 instances across multiple AZs to ensure redundancy. And we're going to handle everything for you.
Are they also putting an auto-scaling group so we can actually have self-healing architectures as well?
And we build an API on top of it.
So we're ultimately looking at having a highly available, resilient endpoint for us to be able to integrate within our applications.
Which is pretty much following the best practices that we recommend for any customer to use.
Awesome.
Right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on. We need to wrap this up and get ready for the next segment. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And thanks to all of our viewers. Keep the questions coming. We're really enjoying this interaction. And next up, we've got Adam Martyr.